Hey, it's Paul Case here. I'm cutting up some pretty white oak today. This log is actually a true white oak and it's not very good. You can see it's got a little problem on the ends. Some knots, but they're wanting it for boards to drive a forklift on so as it don't go through the floor. So I'm gonna cut up some of these here and let you watch. Here goes nothing. For full 2-inch by full 2/8-inch. When we get those kind of orders, we don't even count out the bands, so straight sawing on the end. Hopefully it was picking up everything. Cutting white oak here. My old saw. The tag on it says it was made in March of 1994, so you figure out how old it is. Quality of the log should not affect the consistency of the cut. That's pretty doggone good for an old saw. But I didn't get enough. This order, he said he needed 8 or 10 of them if they were 10 or 12 foot long, and these are only 8. So I'll make him 12 of them, and that's only 6. But I got a couple there. One of them will make a full length, and one of them will make a partial. So I might have to cut up the other log to finish his order. But now I got some stacking to do, so here goes nothing. keep getting texts, and it's kills my phone. It don't pick up through a text. But I got the stuff all ready here. I'm gonna cut this one up real quick, let you have a little different view of it. Here we go. you could tell it or not, but the first board that I cut off of that one bowed up. And you can see that one's doing it a little bit right down there on the end where I cut it off at. And then on the other end, you can see a little gap. That's why I rolled it. If you get them that are bowing up, it means there's tension in the log. And you got to release that tension a little bit at a time, or else you always wind up with boards that are thick on the ends or thin in the center, or vice versa. And so if you roll it, and it's you usually don't have too much of that on logs that are a closer size to the right size of saw, and that log was small. Longer logs, it's always more of a problem on longer logs. But as you can see, there's 7 over there, 3 here. I've got 2 more to cut some pieces out of here, and I think that'll be enough to fill the guy's order that I've got. And the first log was white oak, the second one was post oak, which is in the white oak family. They work really good for trailer flooring, but he's just needing something to throw on his floor of his trailer so he can load a forklift on it and get it hauled. So I'm gonna finish up trimming these last 2 boards and stacking them, throwing the slabs in the rack. And somebody's gonna look at those slabs and say there's a lot of wood in those slabs. There is. I sell them for firewood, but I have to sell them cheap so I can keep them cleaned up. And some of that's just about all bark. It's just how it is. A lot of people will buy a grinder and grind it, but the price you get out of chips around here is so cheap. You'd have to be pushed like by the DNR to clean it up or something like that to have that problem. And I've never had a problem with the people buying slabs from me. I always am able to haul them, get rid of them. I have burned some of them myself when I needed to clean something else up. If anybody's ever tried to burn up a whole tree that was in a brush pile or something, you know what I'm talking about. It burns up all the small stuff and leaves the trunk. So I've used a lot of slabs to go ahead and get that kind of stuff burned up. You can pile enough of them on there to go ahead and burn long enough to burn up the middle a lot of the time, and stuff like that. So that was my Wood Miser LT40 hydraulic. It's been Frankenstein. I'd call it my Franken Sawmill. It's got a 15 horsepower 3-phase electric motor on it. And if anybody ever gets interested in how I did that, changing over from gas to electric, I can show you. And it's really, really efficient. The electric motor plus a phase converter at the time when I bought that only cost about the same amount as what a replacement gas motor did from Wood Miser. So the only other way you could go is to get you a Predator motor and put on it. And those Predator motors, a lot of them made after Honda, same principle, and a lot of them work really good for a long time. But I was sawing production with this mill, sawing every day, about 5 or 6 hours. I was doing some of my own logging still when I was doing that, and it was very common for us to cut 4,000 board foot a week, sawing 6 hours a day, 5 days. And I had a canned order that bought up most of that, and I had a place I could sell lumber off the sides as pallet lumber. It worked out really, really good. And Scott, my oldest son, is still doing some of that with his mill. Anybody's ever seen the advertisements that you can make a living with one of these mills? You can. It's hard work, and you will put the time and effort into it, but you can make a living with these mills. There's probably far more people that want something cut up for a house project or something like that buy one, and there's nothing wrong with that. But don't get into the business thinking that every piece you cut's going to be some big artesian piece. See all the stacks of lumber I've got over there? It's all on sticks. I sell a little bit of it, but not much. And it don't matter how long it's been there or how dry it gets. It's still a hard market to push that away if you don't have a kiln to kiln dry it. People want a big showroom, and mine's set up in an old chicken house. Been, let's see, it's been 15 years. Is that right? Well, it's been 12 years. I think it was 2012. Nope, it was 2008. The last bunch of chickens I grew went out in the fall of 2008. So you can figure that out at 16 years ago since I had chickens in these barns. And when the last bunch went out, we washed the buildings down and cleaned them out, expecting we was going to get more birds. And I have had people come in here and tell me that after all that time, this still smells like an old chicken barn to them. And I'm like, I'm thinking you've never been in one, if that's true. Anyway, people say the silliest stuff sometimes, and I'm going to get off here before I start rattling off something silly. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good day, and we'll catch you on the next one. And there goes the lumber leaving. Same day I sawed it. It's a good arrangement.